Hey everybody, C.Note here, and welcome to Dopamine, the show that is like swearing, something that just feels good and keeps you going to the next thing. Today on the show, I want to talk about finding your purpose as an INTP. This is a consistent challenge that INTPs have, and I'm probably going to be doing a lot more videos going forward about how us as INTPs can find our career, find our purpose, find something that really clicks with us, because that's one of the challenges that INTPs have is this relationship with productivity, which we cover in our INTP productivity workshop, or a healthy relationship with the discovery of that purpose. And purpose is this confusing, ever elusive thing. We have our perception of what it means to have a purpose, but we're going to talk about the actuality of that in this video. So before we go forward, if this is your second or third video that you've watched so far, I would love it if you hit like and subscribe and then the bell icon to get notified for when the next videos become available. So this is a short checklist, a short video around discovering your purpose as an INTP. And the first way that you can do that is to experiment, and to experiment fast. Now, this is a relationship between extroverted intuition and introverted sensing, right? The struggle that INTPs tend to have with productivity, with a purpose, with a focus, is that we get drilled into us at a young age that we need to pick one thing, we need to stick with it, and that needs to be the thing that we do for the rest of our lives. All 80 plus years at most. And that's a lot to ask of someone, first of all. Second of all, that's a lot to ask of an NP, an INFP, INTP, ENTP, and an ENFP. Like, that's a lot. To pick one thing, come on now. That's unrealistic. So let's get that out of your head first and foremost. So the idea here is that you're not trying to land on one specific thing. You may eventually land on one specific thing or try a specific thing for a decent amount of time, but that's not what we're trying to do here. And the idea is that you're not going to cognitively just pick something. You're not going to say, I want to be a firefighter, and then that's it. Because there are too many more interesting things in the world for you to play with and to experiment with, right? So when you're going to experiment with things and you get enamored by something, you get excited about something, just go towards it. Just do it. Just experiment quickly. Have at it, right? It's not just about, like I said, picking one thing and having to stick with it, or doing something because like your dad did it, or because your ancestors have a lineage of something. You might have to break some hearts in that process, but you have to stand up for yourself in that process and say, no, I'm in the process of experimenting and figuring out where to go next, what to do next. And that experimenting needs to be fast, needs to be quick. Meaning, what I mean by fast and quick is that don't waste time mulling about and wondering, is this something I'm going to do for the rest of my life? This is not very practical. I don't know if this is even worth trying. Just like if there's a way to test whether or not you even like something, then do it. Give it a try, and give it an honest try, which goes to the next point, which is all about trying something for 30 days. Giving something an honest go for 30 days. So if you're interested in programming, try it for 30 days. Try to start learning it, take an online course or whatever. And if you find that you either can't stick with it for 30 days, or you do the 30 days and you're like, this doesn't quite feel good. First of all, you developed some sort of a skill that can be useful later in the future. And you have an actual data-driven idea of whether or not you like something. It's not just conceptual. You're not conceiving or assuming that you are that you know if you will or will not like something, right? So the other challenge of that is that we have our inferior function, our fourth function of extroverted feeling. And typically we don't know how we feel about something until we're in the presence of it, right? So if we're trying to think about how we're going to feel, it's not going to really work out very well, right? So you have to get into the experience of the thing. I did a 30-day vlogging challenge for myself a few years ago. And that's on my first channel that I did. It's youtube.com/rivalmydesign. I think that's still up. It was a 30-day vlog that I did. And I was just, it's when I lived in California, and I was just experimenting with the idea. I just got done watching a lot of Casey Neistat. And I was like, let me try that. Let me see what I could do. And I tried to do my own version of it. And it eventually morphed into what this is, like talking to the camera, sharing concepts, giving advice, all of that stuff. And this is not a vlog style thing. This is just me talking. And this is the part that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed giving advice. I enjoyed conceptualizing and organizing ideas and just practicing this idea of expressing myself. And that's ultimately what became Dopamine. And it was through that experimentation process that I discovered how I can combine all of these other skills that I experimented with into this thing. And now this is probably my future for at least the next few years. And who knows what's going to happen after that. I've got all sorts of things in life that I would still love to try. I would love to learn more about engineering and physics, expand on my art practice, do more photography. Like, there's all sorts of things I want to try and do. And formally learn music and do different kinds of production. And I think the panic that happens with INTPs is that we struggle with the idea of having, again, like I said, having to pick something, but then not realizing that we have the time to try it all. Like, we have the time to try as many things as we want, as long as you're not ruminating. We spend a lot of time ruminating. And that's the thing that, bringing peace to your mind, things like meditation, calming yourself, is a good first step of noticing the judgments that you have for yourself, and then just like letting them go and saying, okay, I understand that I might be bad at this thing, that it might be difficult, that it's going to take some time, that, I'm going to feel weird. I'm going to feel incompetent. I'm going to feel, uncomfortable. And those are just truths. Those are things that are going to happen. And then you just do it anyway. It's persistence. It's just trying. And that's all you're doing. You're trying. By doing something, you're not committing to it for the rest of your life. You're just trying it. And that's why experimenting fast is so important. And giving yourself that 30-day window, because 30 days is like nothing in the scope of your life. Give it that dedicated time. And you're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to learn about the experience, and you may learn about other things that you might be willing to try as a result of that trying. So I think that's a very powerful consideration. And then the last thing to consider is that, in relation to purpose as a big picture thing, we talk about finding a purpose as something that just, I don't know, it's like something you walk into, and like one day you're found, you're saved, you've got the thing you're doing for the rest of your life, and you're put on a track, and then you just go. That's the tertiary SI, introverted sensing function, having an ambition to be done and just to reach retirement and not have to worry about anything anymore. And I understand that. But purpose is bigger than just a job. Purpose is bigger than doing stuff. Purpose is bigger than conceptualizing something. Purpose is understanding your significance in existing as a person. Purpose is now. You already have a purpose. Your purpose is to be. You've spent, your essence has navigated the cosmos. I don't know how long it's actually navigated the cosmos, but it's, as far as we understand, the cosmos has existed for 13 plus billion years. And there's been expansion and movement and collisions, and all of those things led to life here on Earth. And that evolution of life has led to us, to human beings. Not just us literally, but our ancestors, different versions of humans that evolved to the current versions of humans that became your ancestors, that went from person to person to person, that eventually landed on you. And all of that survival of famine and war and travel and experiencing wonderful things like love and connection, which sounds so woo-woo, and I know it's probably annoying to hear, but it's true in that all of these positive things and having to traverse these negative things has led to your existence. And you are the culmination of all of that hard work. That doesn't mean you have to do something to prove yourself that you're worthy of this. You're worthy by existing. I don't mean that as an entitlement thing, but entitlement is kind of what that is. The idea of having kids is so that they can be better than us. Our parents had us so that we can be better than them. And that if that means we're going to be a little bit cushier, that we're going to have more time to think, which is sometimes the problem, and that we're living a much easier life than they did, and that they were living an easier life than their parents did, or at least that's the idea, there's no reason to feel bad about that. There's no reason. And I know sometimes because the parent's ego gets upset that your life is easier than theirs, they kind of forget the point of why they had a child in the first place, if they had it on purpose, or at least the general purpose of why you have children. And that's to pass the torch and improve. And I understand that you want to improve as a person based on that. But by existing, by taking care of yourself, by being able to enjoy things, by being able to experiment, by being able to express, you're already doing better. And you already have a purpose. So that's not a cop-out to say that you shouldn't do anything. That's to say that you shouldn't be obsessed with this idea of purpose because you've already got it. And that is the thing that can drive you to go experiment and just try things and experience things. It's really your only job in life is to experience stuff, to try things, because it's through those things that you then create things. And through emergence, through creativity, through piecing together things that become a new thing, which is what creativity is, we end up contributing to reality. And we learn lessons that we can pass on to our kids. And then they can do the same and they can pass on those lessons to their kids. And that's bigger than the material stuff. Earning things, making things, not just making things, but earning things or status or feeling like you have something to prove to someone. It doesn't matter. Do what you want. That's the thing. That's the ultimate idea here, is that I want you to do what you want and do what you can. What you want may not be something you can do right now. You may not have the tools, you may not have the money. That's fine. Do what you can with what you have. But don't let those things be excuses to not do anything at all. You have something that you can do, something that you can try, and give yourself that dedicated effort for 30 days. Experiment with something, see if it's something you like. And the thing is that we don't know the future. We obsess over the past, right? So being in the moment, learning something is just being present with it, taking it in, because it may come in handy in the future. I never thought I'd be using all of my skills that I've developed to be on YouTube and talk about this stuff and talking to INTPs and doing Myers-Briggs stuff. And like none of this was anything that I ever purposefully planned. This is just kind of an amalgamation of a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of skills that I developed over time to be able to talk, to use my camera, to use video editing, to use graphic design, to make thumbnails, to be able to give advice based on my life and my mental health and my own experience with my family or my relationship or where I live or whatever, right? Like I never expected any of this to be any of this. And that's really the thing, is like, let go of your expectations of yourself. Just do the thing. Try the thing. There's no commitment. There's no, even if you spend money on like a tutorial for a month or take some classes at a school, you can quit. You're allowed to quit. That's fine. Usually you can go back if you want to go back later. But if you do it for 30 days and you're like, no, this ain't for me. First of all, make peace with whatever it is that you have to commit to try it. And then when the 30 days is done, allow yourself to move on to whatever the next thing is. So we get attached to the idea of, what will our parents say? What will my partner say? What will my friends say? You don't have to defend yourself. All you have to express is like, look, this is how I figure things out. This is how I approach life. I'm trying to learn skills. I'm trying to experience. And you don't have to explain yourself, really, to anyone. Just keep trying and do your best. So I'm spent for the day. That was a pretty emotionally heavy thing, but I resonate with that challenge. I resonate with beating yourself up over, not having a specific track to be on. But it's ultimately so much more rewarding to be able to turn on a dime, to be able to do whatever fancies your attention, right? So I don't know. To me, you ultimately find that it's more valuable to you because that's the way your brain works. So lean in, go with it. With all that said, let me know some thoughts. Like, what do you think about this topic? What is something that you're trying to figure out for yourself? What's the next thing that you would like to experiment with? I want to know what your 30-day challenge is from this moment. And I want you to make a comment, and then in 30 days, come back and reply to that comment and let me know what the before and after is. I would love to know that. So if you want to go to dopamine.life, we've got articles, we've got podcasts, we've got programs that you can check out related to INTP personal growth. We also have a free ebook that you can collect for yourself if you sign up for our email list on the website. And through the email list, we have our Mighty Networks community. So you can only do that, you can only access that through the email list. So go ahead, sign up, join us there, and we're going to have, more exclusive goodies, conversation. I don't know if you like the word goodies, but I don't know. That's just what stuck out to me. Conversation, deeper topics, things where you can ask more personal space, where you can ask more personal questions, and connect with me directly, or have access to coaching and things like that. So with all that said, like, subscribe, bell icon, etc., comments, and that's it. So I appreciate you. Go do the thing, or just chill, try the thing, see how that works, and I'll catch you next time on Dopamine. See ya.